Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEM TV5 News at 7 on My 5.
Myself. By the authority vested in me by the statute of the state of Michigan, I now declare you husband and husband. You may kiss your husband.
That's the scene that played out here in mid-Michigan and across the country today. Same-sex couples tying the knot after a lengthy court battle that the Supreme Court has now ruled on. The High Court decided today to overturn a number of state bans on gay marriage. It was close, though, with the majority opinion coming by a 5-4 vote. The Justices Thomas, Scalia, Roberts, and Alito voted no. In his dissenting opinion, Chief Justice Roberts said supporters of same-sex marriage should celebrate the ruling, but do not celebrate the Constitution because it had nothing to do with it. But in the majority opinion, Justice Anthony Kennedy said same-sex couples have the fundamental right to marry. President Obama echoed that opinion today, just hours after the ruling was announced.
There's so much more work to be done to extend the full promise of America to every American. But today we can say, in no uncertain terms, that we've made our union a little more perfect.
And since that ruling was handed down just after 10 this morning, there has been a flurry of activity across mid-Michigan, and we have team coverage across the area as reaction pours in. Let's begin with TV5's Sarah Simnich, who is in Midland.
That's right, TV5 broadcast the very first same-sex marriage to happen here in Midland. We brought that to you live at noon. And for both grooms, today quickly became a day they'll remember forever.
I now declare you husband and husband. You may kiss your husband.
It's just a miracle just happened, and it's finally the world is accepting that people are diverse and not everyone's the same and everyone deserves rights and equality in the world.
There was no DJ, no wedding party, and neither groom was wearing a fancy tux. But Andrew and Craig Egley say they didn't need any of that.
It still hasn't sunk in completely yet. Still just kind of riding the wave.
The couple had a commitment ceremony 6 years ago, and at the time, that's all they were able to do. Today's Supreme Court ruling changed all of that.
We've always wanted it to be legal.
They called the Midland County Clerk immediately this morning and were told they could get legally married today.
I hurried up and jumped in a shower real quick, and I think I beat him down here.
And if it's possible, Andrew's father was even more excited than the happy couple.
Just an awesome couple, and they're awesome parents.
The push really came for us, and we really hoped once Craig adopted our first son, the realization hit that if anything were to ever happen to Craig, I don't have any legal rights to our child.
They're in the process of adopting another child.
Our family is actually a family now, and nothing's ever going to change that.
Andrew and Craig already considered themselves a family, but now it's official.
This is what we were waiting for.
Yeah.
Now, Andrew and Craig say they already had a big party and went on a honeymoon trip back when they had that commitment ceremony. So when we asked them what their next step is, well, their answer was simple. They say they just want to be with their family and celebrate their unity. In Midland, Sarah Simnich, WNEM TV5 News at 7 on My 5.
Congrats to them, Sarah. Thank you. Today's ruling was especially meaningful to a pair of women who spearheaded the court battle here in Michigan. April DeBoer and Jane Rouse challenged Michigan's ban on gay marriage back in 2012. That lawsuit was one of several that influenced the Supreme Court to review bans on same-sex marriage in a handful of states. Today, the two said they can't believe this day has finally come.
It's an emotional day for so many of us who never thought this day would come, who thought that we would never be able to legally marry, who thought that their kids were going to spend their life unprotected.
In a recent Gallup poll, 60% of voters say gay marriage should be recognized by the law. And those same-sex couples tying the knot today will now be entitled to all the benefits of marriage. TV5's Elena Holland is in Genesee County, where the clerk was also issuing marriage licenses today.
Here at the Genesee County Courthouse in Flint, many same-sex couples anxiously awaited to hear their number be called so they could get their marriage license. Now, this is a monumental moment for many couples, some who have waited years for this. But it's not just the thrill of a wedding that has many excited, but the rights that come with a marriage, rights that many heterosexual couples haven't had to wait for.
What right do I have to determine how happy someone can be, who they should choose as a mate? That's none of my business.
John Gleason's business is providing couples with marriage licenses. He's the Genesee County clerk, and he says he's ready to help same-sex couples get the marriage they've been dreaming of. First to the altar, Amy Labert and Deborah Baldwin. While Amy and Deborah are excited for their marriage, they wish it were something that could have happened years ago.
It bothers me that it has to be such a big deal for the wrong reasons. Weddings should be big deals. But not for this reason.
Yet the couple is excited to call each other their spouse, thankful for all the legal rights that come with that, which include having the right to be on each other's health insurance, rights to inheritance, and preference rights if one were in a life and death situation. Amy says they both have had health scares in the past.
But one thing it will ensure, because both our health challenges have been serious, they could have been life-threatening. And that will allow us to make funeral arrangements for one another. It will make sure that the other one's family can't kick us out of the hospital room. It'll make sure that our family can't steal us from home and stick us in a nursing home and block the other one from visiting.
And Gleason says that's exactly the way things should be.
How in the world do you ever have the right to determine how much someone loves someone? How much can we impede someone from having a relationship with someone they really love? What right do I have?
Now, some of the rights that the newlyweds now have also include immunity from testifying against their spouse in court, joint parenting rights, like if they need to look up their child's school records, and receiving spousal Social Security payments. Now, these are just some of the things that these couples are celebrated, but there's so much more to be happy for today. For now, in Flint, Elena Holland, WNEM TV5 News at 7 on My 5.
Elena, thank you. And at this hour, a local Unitarian church is holding an event to celebrate the Supreme Court's decision. Let's hear from TV5's Andrew Keller.
Let me tell you this, it's a very exciting atmosphere here at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Flint. There's a lot of people, a lot of hugs being handed out, standing on the side of love. That's kind of the theme tonight, and it's been the theme for a long time for many of these folks. Let me introduce you to Sheila Smith. She is one of these people that's very excited tonight. Sheila, talk to me about when you heard the decision come down today.
Okay, when I heard the decision, I actually got 2 phone calls from people about it, and what I thought was that this is the day that my country actually said to me and to many of the people I love, enter, rejoice, and come in, which is a hymn we sing in this church. And it's so apropos today, I finally feel like I can come in.
71 years old?
Yes.
And you've been in a relationship with your partner for how long?
Almost 30 years.
What are the plans? Are you going to going to the courts? Are you going to get this official?
Well, maybe we haven't really discussed that for sure yet, because I think it was a little hard to believe it was coming, although signs were good.
Sheila, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate that. And there will be a few marriage ceremonies this evening. A lot of people very excited about the decision. In Flint, I'm Andrew Keller, WNEM TV5 News at 7 on My 5.
All right, Drew, thank you. Of course, not all reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling has been positive. The Michigan Republican Party released this statement saying it is unfortunate that another activist court has overturned the will of the people of Michigan. The Republican platform and the people of Michigan support the long-standing definition of marriage as one man and one woman. Unfortunately, in this instance, the court has overstepped its bounds. And Governor Snyder also issued a statement, albeit more toned down. He says in part, same-sex marriage has been a divisive issue in Michigan and across our country. Recognizing there are strong feelings on both sides, it is important for everyone to respect the judicial process and the decision today from the Supreme Court. And for more of a complete list of reactions from Michigan lawmakers, head to the hot link section of our website, WNEM.com. And we'll get more reaction to the Supreme Court ruling in just a bit. But first, let's get ready for a beautiful weekend ahead. Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman joins us now with the first look at the forecast. Hi, Brian.
Hi there, David. Yeah, for the most part, still looking to be a very good weekend. Granted, it's admittedly been a little bit of a forecast that has evolved from the way it looked earlier in the week. But that said, still not a bad weekend forecast by any means. Clouds just essentially overtaking the mitten as we speak tonight, going to a mostly cloudy or even overcast sky in most locations. But the most important detail of all, you can see that green there trying to spill its way up to the I-94 corridor tonight. Looks like it's going to stay out of mid-Michigan for the overnight hours and really most of tomorrow outside of an isolated shower. But you can certainly see a pretty well organized system here with a lot of moisture spanning all the way from Ohio to Illinois. That system expected to get its act together even more over the next couple of days, really over the next 24 hours, and it'll have some pretty noticeable impacts here in mid-Michigan, which we'll talk more about a little bit later. Temperature-wise tonight, though, 72 degrees in both Saginaw and Bay City, and at least a little bit of sun still punching through those clouds. Dew points way down in the 40s, so it feels pretty cool and refreshing out there tonight. 73 in Flint and Midland at 72. So for River Roar, whether you're going tonight for the opening concert festivities or just headed out there this weekend, watch out for an isolated shower, but temperatures for the most part going to stay comfortable down to the 50s tonight, 70s all weekend long. We'll have a much more detailed look at your forecast coming up shortly.
All right, Brian, thank you. The reaction and comments on tonight's Supreme Court ruling continue to roll in. Next at 7, we'll show you what some people are saying, including A-list celebrities. And the scene playing out in mid-Michigan is playing out across the country. We'll take you there coming up. You are watching WNEM TV5 News at 7 on My 5, serving Hemlock, Davison, Alger, and your hometown too. It's coverage you can count on.